Right, here we are. Welcome to the second episode of the Rare Energy podcast. Today I've got a very special guest. We're going to be talking to Darren. How are you, brother?
Good, thanks, Clint. Nice to be here with you.
Well, I'm glad that you've chosen my podcast to finally come on. We were talking about a podcast the other day, and you said that you've been asked to do a few over the years, but you've just never felt comfortable.
Yeah,
So,
I've been asked to do a few over the last 10 years, and
yeah,
for me, it's really important that I felt comfortable, and also it hasn't been an easy journey, because of laws and legislation, in that process. So
yeah,
it's kind of if now is the time that feels right.
yeah. So how's it been for you? Obviously, we'll get into a bit of, we'll do a bit of your backstory first. So before you were involved in the hemp industry,
Yep.
where did you grow up and how did you end up here in this beautiful property?
Yeah, so I was born in Myrtleford, northeast Victoria.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the land of tobacco and hops and timber. Myrtleford has a huge Italian Yugoslav community when I was a kid, and we were out on a farm, so we were surrounded by tobacco fields. So it was an incredible place to grow up. Very multicultural, and we were always working on the tobacco. So I suppose for me, eventually coming into the hemp and farming, it was kind of a natural progression because I always loved being outside in the sun and with the plants. And
So you grew up in that farming environment?
yeah.
Was this legal or illegal?
No, it was legal back then.
It was?
Everyone had a quota, and the Laspinas down the road, Joe and Angelo Laspina was my best mate at the time, and I used to go down and hang out with him, and he had to work, so I hung out with him, and we worked together, and moved all the pipes all the time because we had to kind of hand water that stage, so it was like the pump would pump from the river, and we just became constantly moving the pipes and be like knee deep in mud going from one section to the next section to move all the pipes for watering. So
Yeah.
And Maria Laspina was an incredible cook. So, me being a Taurine, I love the food. And so it was a great family environment. And I have a wonderful family as well. So, but
Is your family still down there? Or
my mother's still down there, Kay,
Yeah.
She's still down there. My father, he's passed now, but he had a shoe shop down there for about 40 years.
Yeah.
And he moved there. He was recruited to go to Myrtleford from St Kilda. He was playing like AFL or VFL back then for St Kilda.
Yeah.
So he moved there, and it was share farming tobacco, and then ended up buying the shop off a guy who used to be captain for Richmond, Ron Branton, shoe shop, and then that was it. That's what he did for the rest of his life. He loved it. And
So what timeline are we talking here? If you're saying they were legal tobacco farms, when did all that change?
when did that change? So I was born in 1965.
Yeah.
And I think the quota system, I can't remember exactly the date when they finally phased out the quota system, but it was kind of around about maybe 85, in the 80s. I think that's when they finally started to phase out the quota system for tobacco. Yeah.
So how old were you when you finally moved here to the Northern Rivers?
When I finally moved up here, I was about 33. I moved up here. I was a builder by trade, so I was a builder back in Myrtleford. We used to go up we worked really hard, like 12-hour days, 7 days a week up in the snow mountains, building, and then with a wonderful boss called Kevin Wood. And then I went around Australia for a couple of years and came back, and then I was trying to go to India, and my father owed me 30 grand. And I said, Dad, put the money in the account. Then he said, I haven't got the money anymore. I had to pay it in tax. So he said, you come back and you're a builder. You set up a shop and you build a shop and I'll pay you in shoes and so you can start with the shoes. So I was 23. So in 87, we started that whole process of, I set up a shop I came back to Albury and set up a shop in Lavington, and it's called Darren Home Shoe Collection. And I started selling shoes, and then eventually did that for 7 years and sold it in 95, and then went travelling around the world being a gypsy and enjoying the journey, and then finally came back and to Australia and met my wife, and we moved to the Shannon area and
When you
Byron.
first moved here, did you
Yeah,
know like this is my spot?
this is my spot. It was just a cow paddock, nothing was here, so it kind of gave us a great opportunity to kind of start doing permaculture and be with the kids when they were young, and to homeschool, life school, and after travelling for such a long time overseas, for like 5 years, kind of realised how much destruction was going on around the world.
Yeah.
I just really felt like I wanted to give something back. I wanted to be able to kind of look in the mirror and, if the kids say, Dad, why didn't you do something, to create change? And so it was a blank canvas, being a used cow paddock, an old cow paddock, and then gave us a great opportunity to kind of build the dream, the vision, and, to turn it into a food forest. And now, we have so many incredible, such a wildlife refuge, and
So how many acres is it here?
66 acres
Yeah.
of the land, and yeah.
I think that's the beauty of traveling, isn't it though? So you get a bit of inspiration from everywhere you go. Obviously, you get insight into how the world actually operates, but you get a bit of knowledge and experience from every
Yeah,
place you go, seeing how different things are done. I think a lot of people that don't travel don't really understand the value that you get from traveling.
yeah,
You
it's
become worldly, and like you said, seeing where the world's going and the direction. And I love how you said you wanted to find a way that you can make an impact and really add value back to the world, especially when you get into the timeline of having kids.
yeah,
So for me, that was a big thing. It's like when you're younger, all you want to do is travel, or you're chasing women,
yeah,
drinking to the extent of passing out,
yeah.
taking all different types of substances. And when you start having kids, it really changes your perspective on like, all right, I'm going to be a dad now. What value can I
Yeah, it's
can I teach
absolute
them?
gift. It's a brilliant gift, and it kind of you had those years of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and to kind of come back and ground that and actually be I wanted to be with the kids as they grew up and to kind of guide them, and got so much out of that. As a gift, it was probably for me. It's like the golden years, really. Like anyone has that opportunity to do it, just go for it.
Because that's a lot more common here in the Northern Rivers, like people living on properties and homeschooling, like people in the rat race in the cities.
Yeah,
They're constantly working and away from the kids. The kids are getting raised by daycare and teachers and stuff, so they miss out on a lot of that childhood stuff. So doing it the way you did it, like when I first spoke to you, and you were talking about that was the best years of your life, like watching the kids grow up on the property,
yeah,
growing your own food. Because we're on 10 acres now, and just watching my kids, watching me doing the gardening,
yeah,
putting some seedlings in, picking tomatoes off the plants. It's like, it's beautiful, it's taken us back to what nature and what life is meant to be outside of the rat race where everyone's just standing over the top of each other, too busy just trying to make money.
yeah. You get to breathe again.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing. So I mean, there's no right and wrong. Everyone chooses whatever path they want to do, but the fact that everyone wherever you are, especially if you're in the city, the fact that you can take some time out to enjoy your kids and to enjoy the journey, you know
Mm.
what I mean, is a gift, 100%. Yeah.
So let's get into the brand. So Artaban,
Yeah.
how did you come up with the name, and what was the driving force to really get into the hemp industry?
So Artaban, I never knew. Artaban is basically the fourth wise man, or the magi, the fourth magi, and I never had any idea whatsoever. About 11 years ago, we did a Christmas meditation um, with the inner work path, and that was that process um, of what got shared was a story of Artaban, and Artaban's story was so profound for me that it touched me hugely at a soul level. That 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 when the time came to, I mean, Artaban's story is that in a biblical way, you grew up in a Christian perspective. We grew up with the three wise men.
Yeah.
So Artaban was the fourth magi, and what happened is he never was there for the birth of Christ. On his all those three wise men, they all came from different parts of the globe to meet at a specific time. They were enlightened. You know, they'd done the whole process of so much, whether it's rebirth, lifetimes, however you want to look at it. They were chosen to be there for the birth of Christ. And for Artaban on his journey, when he was trying to get there, when he was going there, he came across a dying soul, and he had to choose to meet them, to meet the other three, to be there for the birth of Christ, or to actually stop and heal this sick, dying man in the desert. And he chose to be there and nurse this sick, dying man back to health, and therefore, in that process, missed that opportunity to be there for the birth of Christ and spend his whole life searching for Christ. And he brought a ruby, a sapphire, and a pearl. Like the other three wise men, they brought the frankincense, the gold and the myrrh. So that was Artaban's gifts. So it's an incredible story, and it really touched me hugely at a soul level. And so when I started doing the hemp, then I just wanted to be able to give back to people. It was kind of an incredible process. Like, as human beings, we're here to do no more than evolve human consciousness. And the story of Artaban and the process of what the cannabinoid profile, of cannabis sativa did from a healing perspective. It kind of was, they worked beautifully together for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. There's a real soul essence on the back of the name and what
Yeah.
chose it. So that really resonated with you. And I think when you look at the suffering, like you said, so many people around the world are suffering. And for me personally, I've had a very deep spiritual connection with the plant after having a head injury of my own.
Yeah.
And going through the conventional medicine and things like that, and psychiatrists, neurologists, doctors, and all that sort of stuff, you see so many people suffer in that conventional aspect. And for me personally, finding things that have helped me, and then sharing them with other people, it's you've created amazing products, and it's just really beautiful to see people with a lot of passion to really want to help others. Because, like you said, the whole human journey, a lot of people get caught up in making money and status, but giving back, helping other people, and really helping elevate consciousness, because the plant in itself, it's a very magical and spiritual plant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it was like I didn't actually. It was. I had I had a beautiful friend who passed away here on the land, and his name was Jose, and he was a tribal Mexican, and met him in South Africa, and we travelled as families. We travelled up to Mozambique together, and then he came back and he was in Australia, and his wife at the time, Kerry, came up here with Jose, and yeah, you know, at the end he had he was stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and you know, 10 years ago there was a belief that the only way that you would cure the cancer was with high THC oil, the Rick Simpson method back then.
Yeah.
And he got a far more relief from high altitude frankincense that I rubbed on his pancreatic area and high altitude myrrh than he was getting actually from the cannabis. So, and that kind of then opened up the whole Pandora's box of looking at every oil, herb, mineral, and mushroom that had a cannabinoid profile or a healing benefit that could actually help change that cellular structure. And he said to me, "You got to do this. You got to do this." And I'm like, "No, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. I'm a builder by trade, you know." And I was, loving the farm and into the permaculture. And he goes, "No, no, no. You need to do this. This is your calling." And it was like, and he passed here in the Love Shack, and it was tragic and also very beautiful. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was hugely touching. And so his message, and then the whole principle and the message from Artaban, we're here to do no more than evolve human consciousness. We're here to help others. With those two things, every day you had to really get up and work hard to try and help others, basically.
So in his passing, that really ignited the fire for Artaban to emerge.
Hugely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for me, like you said, I've been on a crazy journey with cannabis and my experience in the beginning, whereas most people will say the higher the THC, the better, for things like that. But I've had cannabis up to 30% THC, and for me personally, the high THC, especially if there's no CBD and not a balanced terpene profile, can have more negative aspects. And some of the lowest THC cannabis I've ever had with a really balanced terpene profile, and it's been more therapeutic. So when I first met you, that's a funny story, we were at the post office. So I met Darren at the post office, and I was shipping out my Shilajit, and he was coming through to ship out some of his hemp oils, and he asked me, he goes, "What are you shipping?" And I said, "A bit of Shilajit." And the best thing that I like about the business is half the reason I started it is the ability to share and like give away products. So originally I was buying from one of my friends. They have a Shilajit and a CMOS business, and I was buying from them, and I was just constantly buying from them to give to other people. So I just threw one to Darren, gave him a Shilajit, and it wasn't until I met him months later and actually came out to the farm that I read on the back of his label, it's like, "Trust in your journey of love and light. You can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving." So it was just a beautiful little message there on the bottle, because for me, I've always been a giver. I love to share, especially with things that are beneficial and that are really, because you've obviously done a lot of research and a lot of years of trial and error to get like the recipes that you've got on these bottles. It's next level.
Yeah, well, I mean, the message is on every bottle, on every oil and every cream, because the message is beautiful, and we are the only ones that are doing alchemical blends. So that's why look, like you talked about THC, there's 120 different cannabinoids in cannabis sativa, and THC is one, and THCA is two, and there's 118 others that have incredible, CBD, CBDA, CBG, CBGA, CBC, all these different. I look at it like all these different cannabinoids are like organs in the body. They all have a part to play, and they all need each other. That's why we do the full spectrum process, So, for some people, THC's the be all and end all, and it's like we do low THC. We get all our cannabis sativa tested, our hemp tested, and you know, we've probably got some of the lowest. Actually, I think it came in at 0.07 of 1% or something. The THC
And it's some of the
level.
best,
So it's
some of the best oil I've ever had.
Yeah.
So this is the thing
Thanks.
oh, yeah, brother, it's magical because for me, like I said to you, until I try something,
Yeah.
I can't really speak on it. I like to really dive deep in and having a personal experience before I, endorse a product. But this is by far the best cannabis product I've had. So there's a lot of different things out there. Like for me, I stopped smoking THC because I realised that depending on the source and where you get it from, it can have benefits, but it can have a lot of negatives as well.
Yeah.
Whereas humans, I believe we need to have cannabis in our life, like hemp seeds, all different things. We need the life force and the benefits of the cannabinoids because the humans, we have an endocannabinoid system.
Yeah.
So we have
Fully.
that system because we're designed to,
Yeah.
interact with the plant. The problem is, well, I think with the cannabis industry and even also the stigma of it is so many people have had negative aspects with stuff that's, it's been bred for super high THC. They breed out the CBD and all that sort of stuff, and it's not really therapeutic because especially in America where they have the testing, a lot of companies have really forced their strains to be super high in THC to win awards,
Yeah.
but then it goes away from being therapeutic to just being, this science experiment of hybridization, but it's not, super therapeutic.
Yeah.
So this stuff, it's amazing because I honestly wasn't expecting much from it. But when I met you, that's why I gave him the Shilajit. Because for me, I'm very intuitive, and I'm like, I don't know this guy. I've just met him, but something in my soul was just like, give him a Shilajit. So just chuck him a Shilajit, and then he's like, oh yeah, Then after we first met him, he's like, give me a hug, had a bit of a chat, and then. But yeah, like for me, when you've been around like you've travelled around the world.
But it's the reason we did the podcast.
But that's the reason we're doing it.
Because for me, I felt like, like for someone just to give you a gift and connect and it feels right in the heart, then that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? And
but this is the thing, like you've been a given person.
Yeah.
When someone gives to you without expecting anything, like I didn't even know what you were doing or what you were selling. I was just like, here you go.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, like, but your energy and your frequency.
Yeah.
So over time, you just meet people like by frequency resonance or however you want to say it. You meet people at the right time. And this podcast is obviously called the Rare Energy Podcast.
Yeah.
And anyone that's ever met you, Daz, you're a very rare energy individual. Your son's over here having a bit of a smile, he knows. Your wife knows. And anyone that's been lucky enough to meet, actually, there's a good bloke I know from Byron I was with the other day, Dolphin Dave.
Dolphin Dave.
Yeah. I was with him the other day, and he's a character in himself. I was sitting there with him. He got some Shilajit off me.
Yeah.
And he's one of the first Byron locals. Oh, he's not local, but he's always in Byron now. But he's adopted.
He's been around for a long time.
So I was sitting there and I was talking to him about you because I didn't know you knew each other.
Yeah.
And but yeah,
we met in the water surfing.
Yeah. But this is the thing: when you see other people that have real good energy, they know each other.
Yeah.
So I like to pride myself on thinking that I've got
he's a sweetheart.
the best network in Australia. And people say, well, how's that? And I was like, I know the best people that don't have big circles.
Yeah.
But you just meet them when you reach that level of yourself. It's not about ego or money or status. It's like when you're a good, genuine, honest person, you'll meet other people that are on that frequency. Because when you're trying to chase status and ego and money and driving the cars and trying to show off, you'll attract a lot of people.
Yeah.
But not a lot of good people that give a fuck about you, to be honest.
Yeah.
You'll attract a lot of leeches and people that want stuff from you. But when it comes to real, genuine soul connections, they're very few and far between for a lot of people. But when you get to this, like where you're at, like living out here, you don't have to go around and chase attention or anything. It's like
if you're not happy with yourself, you don't want to live out here.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, but this is a good place to be because you reach that status, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, no, it's not about the money at all. But it's, there's a few things that you said, and like one was, like I get phone calls from people that have been, since the Therapeutic Goods Association and the and the Doctor Association, they got together in this process where, you go and get a script now, because when we first started, there was no SAS script,
Yeah.
So in the last 5 years, there's been the SAS script. So now a lot of people go to the doctor to go and get a script so they can get, THC or CBD.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like I've got so many phone calls from the time that people have massive anxiety and they've been prescribed high THC, and they're ringing me up and I'm like going, well, hang on, it's the last thing that you should,
You need, yeah.
don't take, like honestly, you shouldn't be taking high THC, with major anxiety, because, THC brings on anxiety,
Yeah.
So. But so, it was that process of, with the oils, of looking at every, oil, mushroom, herb, that had some form of, healing benefit that you could bring together as a synergy. And that's how we put the oils together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, some of those oils, like that performance you got, it took 3 years, in the making to come.
Yeah, well, that was the funny thing when I first met you, when I threw you the Shilajit, and then you said to me when we started talking that you put Shilajit in one of your products, which is this one.
The White Russian Shilajit.
The performance. So he's got that's one of the only Shilajits that I haven't tried, is the White Russian one.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if you can get it anymore now, but
well, I hope that you can.
Yeah,
Have you stockpiled of it, or you?
No, but if I can't, then I will move to the Himalayan one.
Yeah.
Yours.
Oh well, I've got that.
Yeah.
I've got that plug for you.
Yeah.
So the Nepalese Shilajit,
Yeah.
in my experience, has been the best one. So I tried a lot from China, India, Pakistan, different ones. People don't realise, like, have you been to the Himalayas? You've been to the Himalayas yourself. So I personally haven't yet, so I can't really go too deep on it. But, every different location, there's different mineral contents, and the higher altitude you go, obviously, the further up you go, it's a more of an untouched environment, So, this stuff. So honestly, I've been on the script from the doctors.
Yeah.
So I had a head injury at the end of 2017, and I went from like never smoking, like I'd have a couple of puffs here and there occasionally as like a what do they call it, a social thing here and there back in the day, but I was never a cannabis smoker. Whereas after I had the head injury, like going down the path of endones and painkillers and all that sort of shit, and realising how toxic that is. But not only, you can get those little temporary reliefs of the high on painkillers, which a lot of people do get, but then you get all that negative feeling in the gut and you start to feel really numb and desensitized. So for me, cannabis, I first started taking it was to really help with the nausea from the painkillers.
Yeah.
And then really wanted to find something to help with like sleep, pain, anxiety. And I've gone through like years and years, like six and a half years of non-stop smoking, like sunrise to sunset every day. The problem is in doing that, when you get some really good stuff, it can be therapeutic. You get the wrong stuff from the wrong people, sprayed or whatever.
Yeah.
It can be the best or the worst thing you put in your body.
Yeah.
So you can be super productive, you can be cleaning the house, you can feel like you've got relief, or you can just feel real dull, numb, and just dumb. But with this...
Well, that's why we grow everything outside. We don't do anything inside. Everything's outside,
And
so
that's what I love.
We do everything from seed to harvest to manufacture production. It's all done by hand.
Because a lot of people don't understand the difference between sun-grown and light-grown.
Yeah, right.
That's a huge thing. So a lot of people have been programmed, obviously, because the cannabis industry was so illegal for a long time.
Yeah.
So many people went from growing outdoors in like mass farms to learning how to grow underground in containers and full hydro. But in doing that, the chemicals, the synthetic nutrients and stuff like that, it's just not the same as sun-grown herb.
No.
And for me, that's what's been my passion, because, a lot of people need the plant, but they need to find the right source and the right
for sure.
people to get it from to really feel those benefits.
Yeah.
Because on the script, I've had the oils, I've had the vape carts, I've had 50 different flowers, and I haven't had anything that's really felt therapeutic.
But I've been a big smoker myself, you know what I mean? And when I decided that I needed to get off it, from addiction perspective, I've used the oil and it's been brilliant. Like, really, it's been helpful. And I've had so many people use the oil to help get off the addiction.
Of smoking, yeah.
Of smoking, yeah.
And that's why I think this product is, so for anyone
Well,
that,
whether it's tobacco or whether it's,
any,
whatever, but, every time that, that they felt like they wanted to have a cigarette or a joint or whatever, they've taken the oil.
have this, yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get into what was the licensing process to grow biodynamic hemp? Like, if you started 10 years ago, was that like when it was just
Yeah, it was
opening
kind of
up?
it's an infancy stage. It was, and so our licenses, we got it. You can get two licenses, one through the Department of Primary Industry, and the other one is through the Office of Drug Control.
Yeah.
So the one through the Office of Drug Control tends to be, the majority of people tend to be growing more high THC.
Yep.
And then one through the Department of Primary Industries is
low
for low
THC.
THC. Yeah. For
So
low THC cannabis sativa.
So
hemp.
when you're choosing a low THC strain, how do you source that sort of thing to do it?
Yeah, so eventually we kind of managed to get through quite a few different strains, and we ended up crossbreeding the strains.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you made your own.
So we have our own strain, which is Artaban unique. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing for me, when I went down the cannabis path, I was on Leafly and searching all these different ones. That's a US website where you can search up all the different strains and everything. And
Yeah.
I went on this strain hunt, like trying to find the best different ones. But for me, with this, like the benefits of it, but the spiritual connection, the first time you have it, like you feel it, and it's not like an overwhelming like high. It's very calming, therapeutic, but also I was creative.
Yeah.
And, it was just something that I felt like I was missing. Because when I stopped smoking, I realised that I needed to do it because I didn't have access to the right stuff. And becoming a dad and stuff, like, you can't live in the victim mindset of, like, constantly thinking, all right, I need this stuff to survive. But I couldn't be functional or productive if I'm smoking all day. So finding things like this that that have really helped me, like you said, with the addiction where you're used to just waking up having that smoke or that bong or that, having the oils is such a therapeutic aspect of getting.
Well, it can take the edge off.
It can.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. It takes the edge off without going there, and it just.
But this, obviously, the oil is the healthiest way to ingest cannabis. Like, smoking anything, obviously, it's not.
For sure.
It's not the best.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed, even when I was smoking.
And better than gummies, and better than everything else that's out there in a sense.
Yeah, well, the gummies are putting sweeteners and all kinds of stuff to make them taste good. Yeah. But the oils for me. So when I was in Amsterdam, after 2 weeks of going around and filming and trying all the different strains in all the best coffee shops, I was there for 2 weeks, and I realised, like after interviewing all the coffee shop owners and stuff, that the whole industry in Amsterdam is based on just high THC. Most of it's all indoor, light-grown nutrients. There's no sun-grown stuff. There's no organic market, because it's just designed for people to just go there and get drunk, get high.
Or get couch potato.
And after me smoking like all this stuff, I got to a point where I was like, I didn't even want to smoke anymore.
Yeah.
And I had that intuitive realisation. I'm like, the only therapeutic way to ingest cannabis, whether CBD, hemp, THC, whatever, is in oil form. You know, because you can have it, you can get that same blood concentration level, you can get that same amount every time, perfectly dosed. Because you know what it's like when you're smoking, you could have a smoke one day and get to the right spot, and then sometimes you'd just be, it's different. Whereas the oil,
for me, I was always active. If I smoked, I was, still did everything, built the farm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but, I just...
But you probably had good access to the hippie stuff too.
Yeah, we had good, it was definitely more cannabis sativa than indica, in that sense. So.
Yeah. So if you look at the industry and the whole stigma behind it, so you go back to the 60s, obviously I didn't live through that era, but the hippie movement and stuff, like, people think of cannabis, they've got this negative stigma. Some people love it, some people hate it. How do you think we really educate people on the different types, and what do you think is the best way forward to educate people?
Oh, good question. I mean, when we started 10 years ago, every time we went to the markets, it was always a huge education for people all the time, and there was a lot of stigma around it. It's definitely gone now. You know, it's a lot more open than ever before in that
Do you think that's
process.
because you can get it from the doctor now?
Well, I think that
Instead of just being
it's
totally black market, now there's
yeah.
grey, white,
You know,
and
you got
black.
like the president of the United States, you know, like Trump coming out and saying, you know, look, I just think that, you know, like America should be on CBD. You know,
Yeah,
most of the you know, older people take CBD. You know, he's promoting it actively and hugely in that process,
yeah,
and saying, you know, you're better off taking that than taking, you know, the pharmaceuticals. So,
yeah.
you know, we're living in interesting times, and you know, Australia does tend to follow America. You know,
We're the
so
little brother for sure.
we're the little brother.
Oh.
So, you know, that might be a positive thing in a way that
Well,
you
you
know,
look at Robert Kennedy; he's very
yeah,
pro, psychedelics,
yeah,
cannabis, and things like that. So obviously, understanding the science, where California's been a big push in going high THC. But I think if we really come back to just the therapeutic aspects, forget about THC for a moment.
yeah,
Like you said, how many other terpenes is there? 118 other
yeah,
cannabinoids.
cannabinoids, yeah,
So if we focus on the other things, because for me, some of the best flower and things that I've had have, I don't think they've been super high THC, but they've had a really nice smell, taste, and they've
yeah.
been
Well, that's the terpenes and the
the
flavonoids. You know,
terpenes.
they're the
That's
things
the
that, you know.
healing aspects of the plant, in
And the
my
other thing
opinion.
that we haven't spoken about is that, you know, the majority of people are doing extraction. They're
Yeah,
using butane gas,
yeah, we
or
talked about that.
they're using ethanol, you know, or they're using carbon dioxide under pressure. And you know, the way that we've been doing it now for the last 10 years, you know, we've got those 14 barrels up there, and they're stirred once a week, and you know, they are in a process of fermented infusion, and they've been there. That culture's been there for 10 years now.
Yeah,
You know, so that's unique, and that's something that's completely different than what's out there on the market.
because you're 100% right. Every
Yeah,
every oil or vape cartridge I've got through the doctor on the script, it's
yeah,
all butane.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
extraction, even when you have it, the whole taste of it, the whole experience is when you've had something like you said,
yeah,
solventless, like
yeah,
pure organic,
yeah,
and then you go back to having something like that, it's you can just
yeah,
feel that there's no soul essence to it. It's not.
yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about the terpenes and the flavonoids is that, you know, that they make a huge difference in the process of the flavors, the taste, the smell, the essence, all the things that are so important.
Well, that was the first thing I
Yeah,
noticed when I tried yours. When I just put it on the back of my throat, the flavour, the taste, and I was like, "This is what I've been looking for." But it is,
yeah,
because honestly, for me, I'm happy to pay like whatever to have the right stuff, but
yeah,
being able to find it and access it has been the hardest thing. So if you've
yeah,
been out there and you've been waiting to try a real therapeutic hemp product, biodynamic, organic, let's just read out some of the ingredients here in the performance one. This is the first one I tried. So you got the high potency full spectrum hemp, cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, organic. The SCS C60, give us a bit of a,
certified Australian extra virgin organic
oh yeah,
olive
organic.
oil. Yeah,
But the SCS, the C60, I've read about the C60,
the
but
carbon C60.
carbon C60.
Yeah,
So I have read some really
yeah.
impressive studies on that. So
There's some interesting
yeah,
stories.
so when you talk about alchemical blends,
Yeah,
so my company's called Alchemist Organics. So I really, during my healing journey and really tapping into past lives and ancestral knowledge and
yeah,
things like
right.
that, alchemy,
Yeah.
it's one of the things that's kind of been buried in the modern world. But if we go back to the ancient world, alchemists were,
It's got the mistletoe,
yeah.
the ashwagandha.
That's all. I haven't finished yet, Daz. Let me.
Yeah.
So we got the chaga, lion's mane, and cordyceps. They're my
Yeah.
three favourite
Mushrooms.
mushrooms
Yeah.
outside of the magic ones.
Yeah.
We all know I love a good magic mushy. Don't overdo it. But we've got the shilajit and the honey. So me, obviously, I've been plant based for
So the
7
honey's
years.
from our bees.
But this is the first honey Darren's lured me back in because tell us more about you. So you do the honey yourself?
Yeah, we had the honey. We've had the honey. Well, they're not my hives.
Okay.
They're a guy, they're a friend that he brought the hives here in, and he put them here.
Yeah.
So we've had them for ages because we've had like the 300 fruit trees here and all the natives as well. So yeah, we had that for about 4 or 5 years. The all the hives.
Yeah.
So that was not, nice to have your own honey because then the bees are going around all the flowers wherever they are.
Pollination's so important,
Yeah,
especially if you're doing permaculture.
yeah.
having a healthy bee population around you. Like I just bought some sunflowers to put around the edge of my garden.
Yeah.
Just to really bring, because everything's been pollinating in my garden except the eggplants.
Yeah, right.
So I'm just trying to get some more bees in there.
Yeah.
But
we got a lot of native bees. We got native bees everywhere around here at the moment. Yeah.
So what is your vision now with obviously the brand's just turned 10 years old?
So the brand, actually this month...
It's coming up 10 months.
It's coming up 10 years that we've been doing Artaban certified biodynamic organic hemp.
Yeah.
And look, we at the moment we've got I think 9 oils and 6 creams, and so like I said, that performance took 3 years. The original was our first oil that we did, which is this one here.
Original, yeah.
And that guy, that's got 11 other different oils, herbs, minerals, and mushrooms, which has been wonderful for reducing inflammation in the body.
True to the alchemy, you've got a bit of gold in here too. So
yeah,
love that.
Yeah, the Aurum Comp Gold.
That's what I was saying when I was talking to Dolphin Dave. He's like, he's got gold in the oils.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm like, yes, Dave, I've been on it.
Yeah. So, no, it's 10 years. It's been a big journey. It's been amazing.
So like you said, when you were talking about other people.
So now the boys are, Makunda, eldest son, he's been involved, for the last 5 years. He's travelling around Australia at the moment, but he's going to come back when we're ready to grow and help out. And Tashi, our middle son, he's been doing the oils and getting involved in the business. So it's been beautiful that they've been involved in the business and allowed me to take a bit of a step back. And
I don't think after this you're going to be taking a step back. It's going to be
well, I'm trying to take a step back.
Shooting you through to the stratosphere.
I moved out to the Shannon 20 years ago to take a step back, but it kind of didn't work. It took off.
Oh, well, you can train the family in the background. You can be doing some more educational stuff, because I think really meeting people, like for me, the last 7 years of my life, all I've cared about is eating fully organic, eating the best quality foods that I can get to really honour and nourish my body, to give myself the best chance of rejuvenating and regenerating, because I was fucked for a long time.
Yeah.
I was in a bad way, and because I was big in the gym and the fitness space before I had the head injury, and the only thing that I really knew to go back to really keep me grounded was the gym. Yeah. So if I always kept myself fit, that was the one thing that really just kept me going in life. But even when I looked really good, mentally and spiritually, I was fucked.
Yeah.
Because before I had the head injury, not many people know, I was full atheist.
Yeah.
I wasn't religious. I wasn't spiritual. I was not organic.
Yeah.
I was eating, like I was making good money and stuff, but I was just eating all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Like at one stage, I'd spend like $1,000 a week on Uber Eats. Do you ever heard of the app Airtasker? I'd go on Airtasker and I'd get these drivers to drive to the airport. There's a Krispy Kreme donuts next to the airport, and I'd pay the Airtasker $100 to drive through the drive-through and get me 2 boxes of 2 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts when they're hot. They'll bring them to me at Bondi Junction, and I'd get on the Instagram story and smash 20 donuts, thinking, oh yeah, look at me, and everyone would be like, oh yeah, look at this guy, and then I'd feel like shit after eating them.
Sure.
You'd look good, you'd still be shredded, but
no.
Like the unhealthy food, like we can eat food that tastes good, but people don't realise how much toxins and pesticides and all kinds of shit. Like we'll get into the biodynamic side for your farm, but most people don't realise how much pesticides and herbicides they're getting in their food.
Massive. Absolutely massive.
Massive. Like, have a look at the Dirty Dozen if you're out there. Go on Google, type in the Dirty Dozen. They do this report every year of the 12 most heavily sprayed crops on the planet, and it's like spinach, kale, strawberries, blueberries. Everything. They got 50 pesticides on it.
Yeah, no.
Because farmers are going out there in these biohazard suits, and then people chuck it in their tap water, give it a bit of a flick, and then eat it.
Yeah, I know, and they don't even need it. That's the sad thing about it. You know, there's this...
With growing biodynamic, because I really love that. That's what your passion is, because that's the people that I really connect with now. Is people that really care not only about business and making money in products, but really the ethics and, doing things the right way, how they should be done, not only for the products, but living in harmony and respect with nature, because we are nature. Like,
For
you got your
sure.
shoes off, I'm wearing mine at the moment, but
Yeah.
being out in the ground, really, I learnt this from eating mushrooms, obviously myself,
Yeah.
but I went through a real
Mushrooms a
spirit.
good introduction.
It is. I went through a crazy spiritual
Mushies are great.
journey, and I went from being, like I said, full atheist to full spiritual.
Yeah.
Wouldn't say full religious, but like believe in Christ, and like I look at him as a ascended master, like someone that's reached a level of enlightenment, was trying to share with other people how they can reach that level themselves.
Yeah.
And the church, obviously back then, wanted control. They don't want people to be enlightened. They don't want people to know how to manifest. If you want to be saved or redeemed, you come and pay us, because it was a business.
Sure.
So you look at things now,
Biggest business in the world.
it's the biggest business in the world. You got all these golden churches all over the world, and then you got all the poor villages all around it. So it's like spirituality and things like that. It's, we can all connect to it. Get your shoes off, get out in the dirt, get out in the garden,
Yeah.
put some seeds in the dirt, grow some food. Even if you're not growing like full mass production for your...
Well, connect with nature.
Learn it.
Nature's just brilliant. It's
So,
amazing.
like you said, we'll go back to a little bit on your farm. So 66 acres here, when you got it, it was empty. It was just
It was a
paddock.
cow paddock, yeah. And then what we did is we ended up kind of changing it to, we ended up like just, we were three friends, and we ended up kind of making a what we call rural residential community.
Yeah.
And so each had their own kind of plot and an area. And then what we did is, in the process of healing the land, we started putting on different homeopathics and different biodynamics. We were making up all the time. So Polly and myself started, and still now, even now, we still mix by hand all the time. So, you're mixing for an hour, and, you're constantly going through the whole process of mixing, in the copper bowl and doing prayer or singing, and we do, whether it's the 500 or 501 or all the way through 508, 502, 3, 4, 5, 6, we used to make compost heaps all the time and have them in there. So we'd be doing those preps all the time, then putting them out on the land. And you could just see from the etheric perspective the change that happened, especially you do it like now at this time of night, the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at this time of day, it was overcast like this, and you'd put it out onto the land, and you could just feel it was just nectar, for all the plants. It was incredible how it just changed the composition of all the the trees, the flowers,
How important is that biodiversity in the soil when you talk about biodynamic? Because for me, being a gardener, how important, because a lot of people don't really understand, how important is it to really, have a connection with that soil for whatever you're growing?
Yeah, it's I mean, like, if you don't look after the soil, then you have nothing, and that's why Rudolf Steiner, basically, all those German farmers in the early 1900s, they came to Rudolf Steiner and realised that they were putting on fertilisers on the soil all the time, but the soil, even though they were putting on more and more fertilisers, the soil was being depleted. So it was in his wisdom, his clairvoyance, that Rudolf Steiner, then through his clairvoyance, then brought through biodynamics, and then taught those German farmers about biodynamics, which now are shared around the world, like Steiner schools or Waldorf schools, and then the esoteric. So he brought, he was a gift to humanity. He brought lots of incredible gifts.
And talking about that clairvoyance and intuition, how important is intuition in business for you? Because for me, I know it's the driving force for everything I do now, but how important from your perspective is intuition, like with knowing what ingredients to use, what to do next, like how important for you in your whole journey has intuition been?
Yeah, I think it's been, it has been very important, simply because you can get into the habitual habit of just making more and more products all the time. But you're just kind of consuming yourself with more and more energy to do what? Like, when you've got wonderful products, how much is enough?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, um, so it's that intuition. It's the intuition of, for years when we were building the farm, there was nothing here like a cow paddock. So we started building the dwellings, like we create our own power, harvest our own water, that everything was built out of recycled materials, and then we had many, many woofers come through that process.
Yeah.
So people, willing workers on organic farms.
Yeah, woofers. This is the thing for a lot of people. Willing workers on organic
Yeah,
farms.
willing workers on organic farms is a beautiful
So
way
you
to
get
kind
people
of
from all over the world to come
all
over and
over the
help.
world they come. You look after them, you feed them. Always gave them the Aussie experience. We used to take them up and take them to Protesters Falls, to the Waters Falls,
Oh, yeah.
to into the bush, go walking all the time. Up years ago.
And free hemp.
Hey.
Free hemp.
Well, back then I was teaching them how to do straw bale houses and
Okay.
permaculture and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So we didn't even have the hemp at that
I
stage.
wasn't even going there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But still, I think learning from other people that have that understanding of the
just
diversity and permaculture.
Yeah.
For me, like learning, so getting knowledge from people like yourself that have
Yeah.
been doing things for years.
Yeah.
Knowledge is so important, and you can only get knowledge, and unless you get it from lived experience, is
Yeah.
from learning from someone that has knowledge.
Yeah.
The problem with the world right now is we're getting brainwashed and indoctrinated by people with no real knowledge, and it's
Well,
like,
all your knowledge is on YouTube.
oh yeah. But this is the thing.
That's
There's information, there's
Yeah.
misinformation, there's disinformation.
Yeah.
It's a whole rabbit hole of information's out there.
Yeah.
We talk about this being a family business, so with the business, how important is it for you, even when you're long gone, for this to keep going?
Well, I think it will continue on. I think it'll have its own life. What I want, or I don't even. I think that at the end of the day, it will have its own life, and yeah, we'll see. You know what I mean? Like, I think the most important thing is that that full spectrum hemp oil or CBD, whatever you want to call it, is here, and it will be around now. After I'm dead, and I think it's been a wonderful gift, and I think years ago we were going there, and humanity kind of took a right turn for a while, and a few years ago we had. You think about we're building cars with hemp, we're running everything on hemp, the fuel was hemp, the ropes were hemp, the clothing was hemp, everything was made from
Yeah, so
hemp.
when you go into that as well, there was obviously a multi-industry attack on the hemp plant because it could replace so many other industries.
Yeah, big time.
So many other industries. When you look at
Yeah.
some of the best fibres, especially during wartime,
Yeah,
like hemp in Australia or the US, hemp was one of the most grown crops.
yeah.
Like,
So,
it's such a resilient...
and he just got smashed. What I mean? They did that on purpose. Everyone knows the story. You know what I mean? Where the oil companies came over and took over. So now it's starting to turn back. And I know in Canada they're developing a lot more. A lot of paints now are made from hemp. There's lots more in the building industry. So
Well, you've only been able to buy hemp seeds again in Australia for everything the last 7 years.
last 7 years.
Yeah, because I remember I was on a road trip somewhere and I seen hemp seeds in this organic shop, and I was like,
Not for human consumption.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
never seen them before. And then when you start reading a bit about it, there's like, it's got all the amino acids, it's got all the omega-3, 6 and 9. It's a complete protein. It's literally like one of the most nutritionally dense things we can eat.
Yeah.
And it was illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So like, who's making up the laws for this stuff? It's like, I think a lot of people, even all the dark shit that happened during COVID, I think it was a bit of a catalyst for change,
Yeah.
for getting people to really, wake up and do a bit of their own research. But not only research, activate your intuition. So like when you're putting something in your body and you're taking something, instead of just doing things out of habit like I was with smoking, get yourself to that connection with yourself where you're like, is this benefiting me?
Yeah.
Is this helping elevate me and take me to where I want to be and who I want to be in life? Or is it making me feel less? Is it making me feel tired, lazy, be in tune with your own energy, and really that's when you become an alchemist and understand how to elevate, transcend, and alchemize
Yeah.
from the base metal into the energy that you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a bit of a
Yep.
squirt while we're on here before we. So
Yeah, I think that's the secret. The reality is that you just to have some time out to kind of ask the question always internally or externally, but to feel out what's right, what's not, from an intuition perspective, and when you feel it's the right thing to do, then go for it. You know what I mean, and uphold that ethic, in that process.
and for everyone in the city that's living in the concrete jungle, how important do you think it is for them to get out in the northern rivers and have like moments away from the craziness to really ground and
It's so go for a walk on the beach.
yeah,
Go for a swim. Do your gym exercise. Get out into
outside.
nature. You know what I mean. Go for a walk. Do however you do it. Your meditations. You know what I mean. But do it instead of not doing it. Put the phone down for a second.
Yeah.
Put the screen away. And,
All right. And one of the last questions I'll ask you:
Yeah.
what has been one of the most enlightening experience you've had in your life? If you can choose one, I'm sure you've had many, but choose one moment where it was really like an aha moment or some type of experience, whether it was with psychedelics, meditation. Give us a bit of insight.
There's been a few.
Yeah.
But I think birthing my kids.
Yeah, it's a very spiritual experience, isn't it?
Helping.
Did you do home births?
Helping, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For all of them. So yeah, very, very special, incredible.
It is.
Yeah. So that was just incredible.
And for someone that did live that, sorry, I'll let you finish. Go.
Yeah. Yeah, for that, from a physical, spiritual perspective, walking in the Himalayas, in the mountains, is always an incredible experience for anyone to do that, or any mountain, huge range that you connect with, that touches you at a soul level is always an incredible, wonderful thing to do. Some time out.
Would you go back to the Himalayas if you had the chance? Or you've done your laps there?
No, yeah, never say no. But it's again, it's one of those things like, I'll definitely go back. I'll definitely go back.
Because I'm going to be
doing it differently. That's all.
I'm going to be doing a bit of a trek myself to go to the top of the peaks where we get our shilajit in Nepal.
Oh yeah.
So for me, obviously, with all our products, I want to be going to Tanzania in Africa where we get our sea moss.
Yeah.
We're going to do a bit of filming and really show where it comes from, why our ethics and our sourcing is different, and just really educate people. So next time when we do some content with you, we'll be able to show a little bit more, whatever you're comfortable in with sharing with your process. Obviously, you've got your own little magic going on, but
we can do that.
We can do that.
Yeah.
But It's been great having you on, and
thank you very much. It's been beautiful.
So Artaban. If you've been interested in hemp, honestly, this is one of the most magical. I don't know if I can use that word, but magical is the only word that I really feel is fitting. But give it a try.
Definitely different from other products out there.
It's definitely different. And it's like you've just met Darren, you've heard a little bit of his story, why he does things the biodynamic way, the spiritual, leaning into why he started the business. So a lot of people get into the industry just to make money. And look, I don't have anything against capitalism or people making money in business, but finding people that really have a driving force outside of just numbers is a very beautiful thing in business, because there's a lot more soul to it. There's an intention and a purpose and a real intuitive aspect of why they do what they do and why they've done it that way. And I think when we find people like Daz, like yourself, that are doing things like that, I think we should really get behind them and support them, and try it for yourself. You can get the 10 mil products, so
Yeah,
they're
10 mil, 30 mil, 50 mil,
very
100
cost
mil.
effective. But this is the thing, so you can go up to the bigger size. So we've got the 100 mil, but brands that are willing to give you the 10 mil sample products, that really shows you that they're not just trying to get that cash grab. It's like, try
And
it for
that's
yourself.
why we call it Love, Light and Soil,
Yeah.
Love,
Light and Soil. That's the last question I'll ask you. So that's the website,
Yeah.
lovelightandsoil.com.au.
Yeah. Yeah, we all have to have love in our life.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
we all need a bit of
we all
light.
need light in our life. And then, get your hands in the soil.
Yeah.
Healthy soils, healthy mind, healthy body,
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the Rare Energy podcast, Daz, and we'll have you on again soon.
Thanks, Clint. It's been lovely to be here.
Enjoy.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.